Hey everybody, ECW fan here. And I put up some Christmas music. I think it won't be copyright strike because it's just ambient music that you can hear in the background. Plus it's nice and low, not to drown out the video if you can hear it. So yeah, we're a week away from Christmas and I'm onto the video game pickups for the last 3 to 4 months. And I have over 50 plus video games here. There was a couple from a couple yard sales that I managed to catch before the season ended. Pawn shops, thrift shops, just like the movies. A lot of this came from cheap thrills. Plus, a couple of these games you actually saw in a video where a guy, I made a deal with Keith, and then I made a deal with a dude at work. So let's get to the games, okay? Let's get to the games. Now, this one, we're going to start with Nintendo first. We're going to start with Nintendo. I always go, with the games that, I start with the oldest systems first, then go up to the new. So let's get to it. And starting with Nintendo, I got Demon's Sword. And Demon's Sword is one that I picked up at Cheap Thrills. Cheap Thrills had this one for cheap, but I like this character. He looks almost like Conan in a way. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get that. I've never heard of Demon's Sword before, but it looks like a neat game, and this is 8-bit games back in the day. And I'm always looking to fill out my Nintendo collection with good, cheap games. But usually I pick up bad ones. The bad ones are more known. I've got a hell of a collection of bad games. I remember when the Angry Video Game Nerd was going through video games, and I was like, damn. I said, he's got a lot like I got. Faster's Quest. I was like, man, this is bad. Another cheap game I got from Cheap Thrills is Cobra Triangle. I just recently picked this one up about a couple weeks ago, and it was nice and cheap. I said, I'm going to go ahead and get that. I know the art on it doesn't look that promising, and I've never heard of Cobra Triangle, so I decided to go ahead and get it for Christmas there. Now, this one actually came from Keith, and this was part of the deal I made with him on a PlayStation 5 game. And I said, I'm going to go ahead and get these two, because it was a good price, because basically both games were, I think, 10 or 15 bucks, because he just traded me he sold me a PlayStation 5 game in this one. But it's Days of Thunder, and this one originally marked up for 12, but he come down on it a lot. And I always like licensed games. For some weird reason, I like to pick them up. And I want to get Jaws next if I can find it as a licensed game. But this is a nice one, Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise driving that NASCAR. And I actually remember renting Days of Thunder as a kid back in the day. That was kind of unique. Days of Thunder. Now, moving on, I got this one from Cheap Thrills. And this, too, was cheap. And I've never heard of this game before. And I was like, a cheap Super Nintendo game? I'll go ahead and get it. It is Stunt Racer. I've never heard of this game before. And I was like, this is a cheap game. I'm going to go ahead and get it. Stunt Racer. Oh, yes. Now we're going to go to the Nintendo Wii U. And the Wii U, really, I don't have a lot of games for that system. I've got maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 at the most. It's a system I really don't collect for, and I know a lot of people are starting to collect for it because they're wanting to get physical games from that system now. And I've seen people have complete sets of them, which is kind of cool to see. And me, I'll just pick up a cheap game if I can find it. And this actually wasn't from GameStop. This one actually came from a pawn shop. And I actually remember picking this one up. It's Zombie U. And Zombie U, as you can see on the back, plays off that. Now, Zombie U, I got this one for $2 because at the time he was selling a couple. I got about a couple movies off of him in this game, and I was like, that's kind of cool. It's it's got it came with everything complete. He just wasn't selling that expensive, and I was like, okay, it's a heck of a good deal. I'll go ahead and get that Zombie U for that price. That's a heck of a good deal. Now, these next 4 games actually came from that deal. If you saw the video, I think it's in September, October. A guy, or maybe late August. It was one of those months I made this deal with this guy, and at work. And for $1 a piece, I picked up some. He had boxes of stuff, but a lot of it wasn't in good shape. But I actually pulled out 4 or 5 games, and you'll see it later in this game in this haul. I pulled out NASCAR, Chase the Cup. I actually had to basically clean the outside boxes. I had to check the discs real good. These sports games aren't really that good. I just picked them up to help him out, $1 a piece. NBA Live 2005. I mean, for $1 a piece, I wasn't going to kick on it. I told him, I said, man, I said, a lot of the games were just in bad shape. I was kind of hoping against hope because he told me, oh, yeah, I've got old Nintendo. I've got old. I was like, oh, really? I'm like, I'm going to get some good games here. But what he brought me wasn't good. Anyhow, I got a Fight Night 2004 boxing. I was more intrigued for this one. I thought, okay, I'm going to get a sports game. I'm going to get a old boxing game. And I got MVP Baseball 2004. And that was the 4 sports games that I got off of him. You'll see the other game here in a minute here because we're going to go to the Xbox now. And a couple weeks ago, I actually picked this one up. And Sean had put this one back for me because this was a cheap price for this. And I'm always picking up licensed games, weird ones. And this one actually is a nice weird game to get for my Xbox collection. It's Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. I've never seen this one, but it looked unique on the back. And as a licensed game, I don't know how good this is. I really don't. Okay, now you're going to see some Xbox 360 games. And I actually got a couple of these. And these were some nice finds, by the way. These were some nice finds in here. And this one actually came out of that box of that guy had with those 4 sports games. And actually, I may have showed it. It's X-Men Origins Wolverine, Uncaged Edition. And I'm going to take it over to Sean and have him see if he could clean the disc. Because I took a gamble on this one. This one, the disc is scratched up. I'm going to see if he can buff it. This was a gamble. And I thought for $1, I'll gamble on it. I'll see how good it does, you know. If I have to, I'll try to get rid of it or throw it away. I don't know if I should just take it to GameStop or not. I don't know if they would take it like that, but I'm going to take a gamble on it, you know. Now, this one actually came from Cheap Thrills, and it surprised me that Sean actually had this one priced this cheap. And it may be a mistake, because there's no way I don't think this game is this cheap. Maybe it's just my imagination, but around September, he got some new Xbox 360 games in. I said, and he got Amazing Spider-Man, the first game. And I was like, for $5.95? I was like, and there's an Incredible Hulk game there, but he had it priced for like $40, and I'm like, and I think, you know, it might have had the error on it, because he might have found out it was actually, because it looked like it was $4.95. I was like, okay, I'll pick up it and Spider-Man, but he said, no, I don't think that, he said, I think it's $49.95 or something like that. And I was like, okay, I'll just get the Spider-Man game then, but yeah, it shocked me for it being that cheap. I also picked up another game a couple weeks later, and at times they will get new games in. At times Cheap Thrills is getting new games in, and new used ones. But this one actually showed up, and I was like, okay, I need to get this. Because I have the Metro series on the one game on PlayStation 4, but I don't have 2033, Metro 2033, so I need to get this one. I always heard this was a good series. Metro Exodus and stuff. My friend Josh plays it. He told me I need to look for that game, and I think I got it for the PlayStation 4, but this was a nice one to get. And I think it's only, I'm looking for those games only on Xbox 360. That's the ones I'm looking for, you know. I'm looking for those games to make the deal here. And I picked up some other games here. I went in GameStop, and I actually had my card at the time, and I actually went ahead and made a deal on this game. And I was trying to find the PlayStation 5 version, but I found the PlayStation 4 version instead. This is The Walking Dead, the Telltale Definitive Series. This actually combines all the seasons, all the 400 days, all the DLC from the 400, you know, from the first season. It had the whole package, every game of The Walking Dead seasons from Telltale on this one disc. And this is kind of cool. I've got all the games individually, and I think this was under 10 when I picked it up with the coupon I had. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get that for the PlayStation 4. As we're getting into the PlayStation 4 now. One of my favorite systems. Oh, yes. I picked up Rhyme off the GameStop online. I went ahead and made an order online back in around September, October, and I was hoping against hope that they would send me the case, but I'm hit and miss with them. They said he sent me, a blank one, no booklet either, so it's just Rhyme. And this one was marked down pretty inexpensive to get, so I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I think it's like one of those games, the puzzle games that you walk around and solve as you go. I think that was the thing with it. At Cheap Thrills, I picked up another good one, and I think I may have filmed it. It's Lichdom Battle Mage. This looks like an interesting RPG. Battle your way through the armies of evil in a forced fight for justice. This one looks like an interesting RPG. This is from Maximum Games. I've never heard of this one, so I'm kind of intrigued by it. I thought the back cover of it looked pretty cool. There's the back cover. I was like, this looks pretty cool. Like I said, I've got a lot of games here. I've got a lot of nice games. So this is going to probably be a 2-part video to end Christmas. And I still have the Amazon pickup. So that'll probably be the first week of January. So got a lot of stuff. Got a lot of stuff to show. And it's been trying to find good pickups, cheap ones. And you could always do that in your thrift shops, Goodwills. You don't need to buy new. That's how I do it. You could buy new, and I have. It's just I'm very select. I can try to find one or try to get a good deal. Now this one actually came out of GameStop. I actually picked this one up, and I think I saw this one there, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. I may have filmed it. It was like in November. Around October, November, I think. Yeah, early November, I think it was. So I saw this in there. I was like, this looks interesting. It's Lawnmowing Simulator. It looks like something from the guys that do Power Wash. And I'm like, really, a lawnmower? And I actually started playing this. And it's addictive. And you'll spend hours just playing and mowing yards. And I'm like, dear Lord, man. You'll look at the time. You'll be like, I spent that long mowing a yard, in a simulation. These simulator games are just addictive, man. And I'm really getting into them. I love Power Wash too. And speaking of that, I bought Power Wash 2 digital. Yeah, Power Wash 2 digital. That was a good one. I like that one. And it too is addictive. It's fun. It's fun. The Power Wash games really got me into those type of things. And the first one I own and the second one. The first one, I was really wanting the second one to have a physical copy, but it's digital. And another digital game I got that I've had since back in the spring that I haven't showed because I keep forgetting to show it because it's digital, and I keep forgetting to mention because I'm a physical copy guy, but it's Persona 4 Golden. Yeah, Persona 4 Golden is on there, and I've had it since the spring, and I've played some of it, and man, I love Persona 4 Golden, man. That's what got me into the Persona series so much. I got a Vita, I've played it on Vita for over 200 hours. It's just addictive, man. It's just addictive. And I meant to show that one off so long, and I keep forgetting to do it, and I'm doing these videos, and then later on, I'm like, why didn't I show that? Oh, well, it's digital. It's hard to show it, you just got to get your mind to show these games. Now, moving on, I picked up this one from GameStop, and this is kind of funny. For 99 cents, I picked up Pro Evolution Soccer for 99 cents. Yeah, that's kind of unique. A 99-cent game. This is probably one of the cheapest ones I picked up in this whole fall, winter. I'm going to show my big hit at the end here on this. Now, this one actually came from a yard sale, and this lady was selling games. And it was around September, and, yard sales were starting to fizzle out a little bit. They were starting to go down, and she was selling some games. And I was going through it, and she had Mafia Definitive Edition, and she didn't charge me that price. See that price right there? She didn't charge me that. No, she charged me $5 for it, and it was nice. I was like, I knew this is kind of a newer game, and she just told me her grandson didn't want to play it anymore. She just was selling games, and I'm like, does he have any more? And she's like, no. She said just he had a couple, but some people already bought some. I was wondering what they bought. I should have filmed it. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, now at Cheap Thrills, I picked up this game. I always thought I owned Ratchet and Clank, the 2016 version, but I didn't. It was actually from 2020, and it was actually the game they gave away, the giveaway game. And I thought I had a platinum for it, but I realized I only played so many hours into the game that I didn't have the platinum for it. I'm like, I thought for sure I had it, but I didn't. So I was like, well, I'd like to get a physical copy of that. I don't want to have it just digital. And I don't know if I can get it back because, that my one PlayStation 4 broke on me. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and get it cheap from Cheap Thrills. And I got the PlayStation Hits version. And it's very rare that I would get a PlayStation Hits game. I think I've got maybe two or three of these special PlayStation Hits covers in my PS4 collection, but hey, it's the game, and I'll be happy with it. It's all that matters, It's all that matters. Now, this one actually came from Cheap Thrills, and at the time, I went into GameStop, and I saw this same game, and I don't know what it is. I have no clue. GameStop is just screwing up or something. But there's actually two versions of this game. Well, GameStop was pricing this one like I think the MVP version they have, but it's not. It's just a regular copy. Well, I went into Cheap Thrills, and this was actually cheaper. It's in Major League Baseball, the show 17 with Ken Griffey. And the MVP version of this is really marked up. For some weird reason, it's marked up higher than anything. I have no clue why, but I'm like, okay, that's just weird to see. But I went ahead and picked up this cheap game because it's just a baseball game, And the regular, I think this is like a $4 or $5 game basically, and that's what Cheap Thrills had a price for. And I was telling John about it, and I said, yeah, I don't know why Cheap Thrills has that thing priced so high. And I said, I think they got it mixed up with the MVP version, but somebody bought it. Because it wasn't it's been weeks, and somebody must have bought this game at that inflated price, and it's just weird, I was like, I feel for the person who bought it because there's no way I would have done it. There's no way. I'm a cheap SOB. I don't do that. Anyhow, now this one came from GameStop since I'm talking about them, and I'm always on the pursuit of RPG games, right? I'm always looking for interesting new RPGs to play. I've got so many of them, and probably in my lifetime, I'll never finish them all. Because they're hundreds of hours. I mean, the Persona games themselves are a time thing. I'm currently working on the Trails series. I'm not even through Trails Through Daybreak 1 yet. And they've already got, Trails Through Daybreak 2. They've got the first chapter of Skies. And now they're getting ready to put Beyond the Horizon out. And that's in January. I'm like, really, man? And I'm reserved on Trails to the Horizon. So, just so you know. And I'm like, I want to eventually finish those games. I've been since 2 or 3 years playing all those games. And like I said, they're just time-consuming games. You've got to sit down and dedicate your time to them. So why am I buying these? Well, this is getting to the game I got. I got Valkyrian Arc, the school story. And I think there's a sequel to this. I'm like, let me finish this one first. Let me see how this one is. And I was like, this is another game that takes place in a school, which is really where these games are, RPGs have went, okay, they're going to be students, but they're going to be fighting monsters. So it's just kind of cool in a way. And I got one more for the end, part 1 of this video. One more to end part 1 of the video game pickups, because this video is getting a little bit long. And this one actually came from GameStop. Yeah, this is where I got it from, GameStop. And I was always shocked that I didn't have this game, and because I thought I owned it, but I didn't. I was scrolling through it, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't own the first Lego movie on the Lego movie game on PlayStation 4, because I actually have played the Lego Movie 2 game, and I think I forgot where I got that now. Do I have it? I think I got that on PlayStation 4, I think, because I played it, some of it, but it surprised me that I didn't, and I'm like, I got to get this one. I think I got it on Vita, maybe. I think I got it on Vita, but I don't know. I gotta remember. I got so many games in my mind. It's just. But anyway, this was a cheap one. These get marked down after a while. I love the Lego games. I love the Lego games, and I can't wait to get Lego Batman. That series is coming out next year. I mean, I'm so pumped for it. I go through the Lego games like that. I go through them. That's my jam, and it's gonna take me years to play the Lego games because I like to get them all and platinum them. But dear Lord, I had to stop on Star Wars. I was like, dear Lord, man, that Star Wars game, that Skywalker collection game, dear Lord, man, that would have took me forever. There's all kinds of stuff, and I had to walk away from it after I had like 50 hours in. I was trying to unlock everything. I was like. It's like, man, I love these games, but man, it's just too bad. It's just too deep now. You gotta dedicate. It's like an RPG. But that'll be in part 1. We're gonna go into part 2 that you'll see next week. So I hope you enjoyed this video haul so far for Christmas, and it'll be after Christmas when you see this video. So have a Merry Christmas, and I hope you get everything that you want. And yeah. I'll see you next week. Merry Christmas.